Hi everybody. Today I'm going to talk about backstage and front stage. We all have a backstage and a front stage in our offices. You have one in the theater. You have one in restaurants. You have one in the helicopter industry. You have one in your life. Everything has a backstage and a front stage. The front stage is the part that everybody gets to see. The backstage is the part that people don't get to see. They're both very important. Let's first of all just talk about a dental practice. The front stage is what patients see. They see the parking lot, they see the building, they see their staff, the receptionist, the waiting room, the magazines. Usually that part looks pretty good because that's what patients see. The backstage is what people don't see. The backstage is the sterilization room. The backstage is your cabinets. The backstage is the dentist's private office, the bathroom. Today, we had a team meeting. There were 20 of us upstairs on the second floor. That was backstage work. Would we be comfortable having everybody be at that team meeting because of how we acted with each other? What I think, and we talk about it in our book, Treating People Not Patients, is that in a really, really well-integrated life, one that's really working well, your insides have to match your outsides. I oftentimes say to somebody, how are you doing with your life? They go, what do you mean? Are you leading an ethical life? Now, none of us are perfect, but would you have everything that you do in your life published on the front page of the New York Times? That way, you know you're leading a very ethical life. You'll show everybody everything. Now, none of us will do that because we all have secrets and we all have things that we don't want to show everybody. But most of what I do in my life, I'm very comfortable with everybody knowing. In my dental practice, I'm very comfortable with that. What we do in the back of our practice, I'm very comfortable showing my patients in the front. If we have a conversation about a patient among our teammates, I'm very comfortable having that same conversation with my patients. If I'm talking to one of my teammates about another teammate, I'm very comfortable with talking to that teammate about that same conversation. Even if it's something that might be a little dicey or something that we really don't want to talk about, I'm comfortable being open, honest. Because I think that's important, that we're open and honest. We have that sort of transparency that we can talk to everybody equally, openly. And people relate to that. People love it, actually. When you keep that little veneer between yourself and the patient or any other human being, people sense it. They go, is this person being honest? Is this just a little show? Or are they comfortable opening up? Well, in a dental practice, one of the things that I'm very concerned with is how clean is the backstage of a certain dental practice. So when I go to visit another dentist, I'm very curious, but oftentimes I'll go there to visit because they want some advice about how to run their practice, etc. So I said, give me a tour, and they gave me a tour of the office. But what I'm most interested in seeing are 3 or 4 different rooms. The room that I really want to look in is the sterilization room. Is it clean? Is it neat? Is it clean and neat during the day or just at the end of the day? What about the doctor's private office? Are the papers all over the place? I open up the different cabinets in the doctor's offices. I do it with my own associates. Don't tell them that I said this to you, but my partners, when they're not there, I go inside their drawers. I see how neat and clean they are. I do it with the administrative team too up front that have mints and candies over there and paper clips and pennies and personal things. Or is it very neat and clean? And I have to say that no office is as neat and clean as my personal office because I have OCD, and that's what makes me a pretty good dentist because I care about every detail. Now, is that something that you're born with? Yeah, maybe. Can it be trained? Yes, it can. If I train you to be neat and clean, you can be neat and clean. If you're a Marine and you don't make your bed nicely so you can bounce a quarter off of it, you're going to do it over and over again. You can train somebody to be neat and clean and organized. And I think you can train dentists to be neat and clean and organized. So that's why it's important to have the backstage neat and clean because it's a reflection of how you are in the front stage. And I am comfortable having my patients at any time of the day look at any aspect of my office. The room that I'm most proud of is the bathroom. It's probably the most expensive room in our office. It's with marble. It has all the different amenities in it. It has Williams-Sonoma soaps, and it has mouthwashes and toothbrushes and creams, and it smells great. And it's really nice. It's a really nice room. And so I always took a lot of pride in that. And one day, one of my patients came. He's a well-known real estate agent. I'm not going to mention his name, even though I mentioned it in my book. But he came to see me, and he says, you're okay. I go, what do you mean you're okay? He goes, I've been in your basement. I go, what do you mean you've been in my basement? He says, I went down in the basement to see if it was neat and clean. And I said to him, I go, how do you know where my basement is? He goes, I'm a real estate agent. I know how to get to a basement. I thought that was sort of funny because I thought he was going to go into my bathroom and see how neat and clean that was. And the reason that he went into my basement He says, because I have an old house, and it's over 100 years old. You know, it was built with rocks and cement and big beams and things like that. And so the basement in those type of homes is usually not that well taken care of. But ours is pristine. It's cleaned up. It's waterproofed. He says, your basement is perfect. He goes, and that's why I know you're okay. Now, people look at different things. Most people are not real estate agents and don't go into the basement of your practice or the back walls to look at everything. But he did. Because my basement was pristine, he trusted me, and he ended up going through a full mouth rehabilitation. If you're not neat and clean in the backstage, it's very hard to deliver your best at the front stage. And again, your insides and your outsides may be mismatched. So, if you want to do the best you can, take an inventory of your office. Look at everything. Have your team look at everything in your office. And once you do that, neaten it up, clean it, and then you can be the gift to your patients. Have a great day, everybody.